Hi, welcome back to the series. And in this episode, I'll be taking you through the tools and technologies that I've used to build Claringo. So let's get into it. Let's start off with the playground, the place where everything comes together, which is Cursor. So Cursor is a IDE built on the top of Visual Studio, and it is a AI-enabled code editor, and it works very good. I have faced no issues using Cursor. And there is a free plan for people who want to try it out. I personally use the Pro plan. So if you want to use any other ID, it's totally fine. The only thing with Cursor is that the workflow is pretty good and you can access all the AI models within the Cursor's ecosystem. You don't have to log into multiple AI models or get API keys from AI models. In this $20, most of the things are included. So it is very much sufficient for us to build whatever we want with Cursor. Next up is V0. V0 is the inception of your UI. So Cursor is good at editing. V0 is good at creating things from scratch, things as in the UI of your website. So you can use V0 for free and you will have a limited number of prompts, but that is enough to bring your UI to life. And then you can take that or download that file and move it to Cursor and then work it over there. Now, these are the two tools that are mostly AI code editors. And then I am going through the frameworks that I use for our Chrome extension. So the first framework is WXT. I chose WXTs because there is smooth builds, and with that same code base you build for your Chrome extension, you can use it for Firefox, Edge, Safari, and any other Chromium-based browser. So that would give your Chrome extension a reach of users which you really want to have. I did some research about it, and I felt that this would be the right way to go. Hence, I chose WXT's extension framework. When it comes to the front end, if you need really good UI, you have React White or Wheat, whatever you want to call it. Let's call it Wheat. So it has out of the box support for TypeScript, JavaScript, CSS. So you can go ahead and create your front end with White or Wheat, and that will work very well with the WXT framework. Then for the landing page, I used Next.js. Why did I use Next.js is because all the AI code editors are much familiar and trained well on Next.js framework. And one problem with Next.js, if you are using V0, it builds with TypeScript. If you want to build with JavaScript, then you have to just download whatever was built with TypeScript, and then you can convert that or migrate that into JavaScript, coming back to Cursor. So that's what I did. I wanted to build with JavaScript. So these are the front-end frameworks that I used. And other than that, you have your HTML and JavaScript to build Chrome extensions. So JavaScript is very important if you want to manipulate the DOM, and HTML is obviously core to web development. Then you have Fast API. This is the backend framework entirely, and I feel Fast API is much more simpler to work with because it has inbuilt documentation page to try out your APIs. And Fast API is much more faster compared to Node.js. It's very on par with Node.js, and it's not like Django. And this is based on Python, so it is easy to understand as compared to any other backend framework. Another reason for going ahead with Python-based backend is because I was planning to use NLP models such as Spacey, and Spacey is built on Python. I thought working with entire Python backend would be a better call as compared to mixing with Node.js and other backend frameworks, is because then you will have to create middlewares to work with Node.js and Python. That is not really the way to go if you are building a small project or something for the first time. So NLP was reason one, and the other reason was most of the LLM providers are compatible with Python, even though you have APIs inbuilt. But if you want to go ahead with, let's say, Google's Vertex setup, then you will have to make things complicated. At that point, having multiple backend frameworks doesn't really help. Hence, Fast API was my choice for this project. The next important product that I used for our Chrome extension was Supabase. The only reason for going ahead with Supabase was they have a dedicated MCP server that can connect with Cursor. And if you want to create a table in your database, if you want to make a SQL query in your database, if you want to edit your database, if you want to change your policies within the database, you can do that by giving a prompt to Cursor and asking it to use Supabase MCP. It will do everything for you. You don't have to break your brains managing the database as well. And the free tier is the second reason, because it has a very generous support for 50,000 monthly users and the unlimited API requests. What else do you want to start up a project? And it supports two projects simultaneously. And if your project is inactive for over a week, they will pause your project and then you'll have to go and reactivate it. Nothing would be deleted, just a way for Supabase to save the cost on free tiers. Since we touched upon MCP, there is another MCP that we are using, which is called Context 7. It really helps out when you want any up-to-date documents for whatever technologies that you're using in your particular project. Moving ahead, we have our LLM model. So I'm using Gemini because I am working with the YouTube's data. So I don't really want to give that YouTube data to some other LLM models and then get accused of training proprietary data. So I thought whatever is coming from YouTube is going again into whatever Google owns, which is Gemini. So hence I chose Gemini, and the free tier is pretty much fine. You have obviously limited access to the LLM models, but it works pretty well when you want to kind of make a MVP or proof of concept. Let's move to the next one, which is the most important API that acts as an anchor bridge from YouTube to the Chrome extension. This is something that is super, super, super useful. If you know YouTube's official APIs does not allow you to get a lot of information from YouTube. But this particular API accesses YouTube's private API and gets you from simple search to complex operations. In my case, I wanted all the YouTube metadata, whatever YouTube video I'm watching, I need the metadata, which is in that YouTube video. This particular API was able to get that. And there is no API key required for this. It can work anywhere where JavaScript is running. The great API can open so many doors and so many possibilities to build with YouTube. And almost 14,000 plus people are using this. So we can move on to the next one. While I was talking about the front-end counterparts, I missed out on design. I'm using the ShadCN design system. We have all the buttons and components already created within this design system. You just have to open it in Figma, use those things to build your own UI. Since this UI kit is widely used across a lot of websites, this particular UI kit comes to life on your web platforms using Lucid. It's pretty easy to implement on your front end and it's widely used. Hence, I went with the ShadCN UI. Yeah, that's all about the front end part. Then there is Google Analytics. If you want to implement analytics, just stick with Google Analytics. Don't think about Mixpanel, Amplitude in your first phase of development. Since I did not release my product, I did not implement Google Analytics. Then for payments, we have Paddle. It is the alternative to Stripe and it is developer friendly as well, just like Stripe. The only reason I went with Paddle is as an Indian citizen, I cannot collect international payments using Stripe unless Stripe invites me to become a customer. That is actually hard if you don't have your own company registered. Since I'm a person who's trying out MVPs, creating initial level of product, Pedal works out well. Obviously, they have their own onboarding system, but I did not get onboarded, but I finalized this as a payment tool for my product. And I have seen this being used by a lot of other platforms out there. So yep, that's it. Those are all the tools and technologies that I used to build Claringo. More about these in the coming episodes. All right. See you in the next one.